It's a pleasure to be here, connect with builders, our friends, customers, projects that we really collaborate closely with. So that's such a great event. Thanks for allowing us to be on the stage. And it's quite hot here. Thanks for staying this long to hear what's new with SubQuery, what type of revolution we are bringing. So the topic for this talk is to actually tell you a bit more about our recent mainnet launch and also what's next for us. And we really believe that SubQuery now is in a prime position to change the landscape for Web3 infrastructure and bring very holistic approach that will address a lot of issues that we observe that are present in Web3 infrastructure. So before I go to details of what we are building and what's next for SubQuery, I want to tell you a bit more about what we've been doing so far. So for those who don't know who we are, hopefully not so many here, SubQuery is an open source indexer. So this is where we started 3 years ago. We provide open source indexing services. And through this, we collaborate with a lot of teams across different ecosystems. So Polkadot is our mother ecosystem. This is where we started. We are very deeply rooted and work closely with many parachain teams and DApp developers. But we also grew beyond Polkadot and we went to other ecosystems. And through this experience, we have this huge exposure into how Web3 infrastructure landscape looks like and what issues developers are facing there. So, and parallelly to providing indexing services, we also have been working on decentralized networks. So this was our next big milestone. And why we are here today, it's because we want to discuss what we actually discover when building our network. We know that we are in a prime position to offer a more holistic approach, and we are actually transitioning right now from simply indexing data and providing indexing services to a more broad solution, and this is exactly what I'm here to talk about. Before I go to what's next, I want to explain shortly how indexers work, what they are helping with. So essentially, blockchain is not designed for data query. So this is the biggest problem indexers are solving. They help developers get data from the chain in a more efficient and fast way and retrieve this data in a format that is easily digestible in their application layer. And this is what SubQuery does. So essentially, you are able to get some data from the chain and narrow down your use case. So ask for a specific data, and then SubQuery indexer will get it from the chain, save it in a Postgres database, and we also provision GraphQL API endpoint for you to query this data. And this is the very high level setup, and we actually. Why indexers are important or who can use them? Anyone who wants to get any type of data from the chain. This will speed up your development process so that you can focus on your end functionality, on your product, and don't worry about this little part of your tech stack and actually use some of the indexers there. One of them is SubQuery, and also be able to focus on your product. And we've been working with many different projects. I've mentioned network chain teams, but also DApp developers. So from different verticals, no matter if you're building an analytic tool, some type of dashboard, vanity metrics that you want to showcase on your website, is it blockchain explorer that needs a lot of data from the chain, or mobile app, or any type of DApp from NFT marketplaces to gamify, DeFi projects, you can work with us. And we are proud to say that we are faster than the graph, almost 2 times. This is due to constant optimization and robust set of features that we provide with our indexer. And we also support unfinalized blocks indexing in real time. We have more features, so I recommend you to check our documentation. I will share a link later. But what's the highlight for me personally and for most developers is actually the robust flexibility that SubQuery provides. So essentially, in your mappings file, when you get data from the chain in the payload of your function, you are able to use some external API calls, trigger some other functions. So essentially, this allows you to have a pretty unique project built with SubQuery, and this gives a lot of interesting, this helps us to build a lot of interesting use cases, and they're very different from each other. I've already mentioned that we started in Polkadot, where we support many parachains. And apart from Polkadot, we went into different ecosystems, so EVM, Cosmos, Algorand, Avalanche, and so on. Currently, it's 160 networks, so this is a big number. We were very proud of this, huge achievement of our team. So if you are, if you come from a chain team, parachain team, please reach out, and we can discuss bringing support also for your chain. And by support, I mean that we provide boilerplate projects ready for developers to get started and index data from any chain in a minute. So that's just basically 1-2 commands, and that's done. You have a working operational indexing project that is easy editable, and you can build upon it. And to say one more thing here, we also are multi-chain by design. So it's not only the fact that we provide support for 160 networks, but also we provide multi-chain indexing support within one project. So this works this way that you can get data from substrate-based chain, COSM, VASM, or EVM within one database, and use only single endpoint to query this data, and the data will have the same format. This brings a lot of value to developers who are working for projects that are deployed across different ecosystems, and we personally see this as a growing tendency, with more and more blockchains being app-specific. So this comes with different RPCs, interfaces, different API protocols, data handlers. You have to deal with it, and this is all of those problems we are solving with providing multi-chain indexing. And just to give a little bit of insight into what we've learned during our years as an infrastructure provider in different ecosystems. So essentially, we heavily rely on RPCs. SubQuery project needs to have an endpoint provided within a project, and we need to know from where we are getting the data. And for all these 160 networks, there are many RPCs that we need to rely on. And also through our close collaboration with many different projects, we hear from them what are their issues, what the developers struggle with. And RPCs actually quite often come into the discussion. And why is that? Because RPC landscapes across different ecosystems is actually quite fractured. So you would see ecosystems with excellent RPC support, with number of different providers, with archive unproved nodes, with unlimited access or ability to actually sell up and get unlimited access to the endpoint. But also, for different ecosystems, you will see that the standards vary, and the RPC support is not that robust. And those ecosystems really struggle, and developers have to pay from their pockets or actually have quite a difficult situation. So when we are looking at a smaller network, it can be that often amateur teams, they can provide some RPC support. This is paid by the network team because RPCs are costly. There will be rate limited. There won't be any upsell option, and there won't be a variety of choices. So the result is that developers, they need to use their private services. And if they need to use their private services, again, it's a huge barrier of entry for new teams, but also because it's so pricey, they will have limited number of RPCs, so not a great redundancy, which is a risk factor. And when we are looking at different setups, so quite established networks, they may get a great deal from like hyperscale RPC provider with great archive nodes, with number of RPCs endpoints provided, but this is just a couple of like a handful of big RPC providers that are serving all of those big networks. So behind the curtain, just a few big corporations are serving RPCs for all the DApps that we are using, which obviously is another risk factor, right? Because we are building something that we want to achieve through decentralization. That's our mission, but it looks like RPC, which is like a backbone of Web3 infrastructure, is actually controlled by a big company and the same company as any other or many other chains or DApps. So that's the problem, and this is something that we want to solve. And I've shared recently that SubQuery launched a mainnet network. It was, I think, two weeks ago, 2.5, so quite a hectic time for us. And currently, SubQuery network is like a decentralized marketplace when you can get your data indexed, you can index the data for someone, but we are still relying on centralized RPCs. And what we want to change is to actually bring holistic approach where we allow, alongside indexing services, also RPC services. So we'll have thousands of node operators serving as indexers or RPC providers, and still you will be able to enjoy single API endpoint, load balancing, but with number of distributed redundant nodes in the network. So this is how we want to change the situation and make it easier for developers to get fully decentralized services and at the lower cost and more reliable. Typical infrastructure stack will look like this. I want to spend a bit more time around indexers and RPCs here. So RPCs, as I mentioned, they're a backbone of Web3 infra. So this is how you can actually talk to the blockchain node through RPC providers. So they are responsible for submitting transactions, interaction with smart contracts, or retrieving data from the blockchain. So indexers as SubQuery will use RPC providers to retrieve data from the chain and then provide them in your application layer for DApp developers to power up their applications. And what we want to change here is that SubQuery network will provide those two services, and this will be a fully decentralized solution. And why we started thinking actually about providing RPCs alongside indexing. So I've mentioned at the beginning that as soon as we provided our open source SDK indexing solution, we started working on decentralized network. And we've managed to launch pre-mainnet, a Kepler network, and we've been running it successfully for months, having thousands of indexers there. And for the Kepler network, for our pre-mainnet, we already developed a few solutions like payments, railways, like dispute resolution processes, or verification of services. Those three elements are actually crucial to be able to create decentralized network for RPCs providers. So we understood that we are in a great position, and we have everything, almost everything already developed, so we can actually bring more value to developers. Just to give you a quick overview of what we accomplished recently and where we are going. So I've mentioned SubQuery Kepler network, that's already in the past. We have launched our mainnet network. They are not overlapping, so the birth of mainnet was the last day of our Kepler network, but we ran it successfully, onboarding more than 2,000 indexers, and this gave us a lot of experience and even deeper understanding into the space. And of course, we had a public sale, mainnet launch, and right now we are bringing support for RPCs. And the next steps are related with two different problems that we also observe in RPC space. So first, we want to attack, or we want to bring enhancement to RPC. So RPC nodes are built and optimized to validation, not for querying. And what we want to bring is actually nodes that are optimized for heavy query. There will be heavily forked RPC nodes that are editable and they are open source, so we invite our community actually to bring more support and work on this as well with us, and this will definitely help with the performance issue. And another thing is actually to democratize RPCs. So I've mentioned a few times this is a costly service, and it's more costly when we are bringing to discussion historic state data indexing, which is crucial for indexers. And what we want to provide is actually a shredded data node, shared data node, which will allow us to actually split block range between different nodes. So it won't be like this, that every node has to sync up with the latest state of the chain. We will divide a block range between nodes. And behind single endpoint, we will actually provide the entire historic state of the whole blockchain. But we will be using multiple nodes. And it's not like that every node has to have all the data, all the data on it. So this will quite significantly lower the costs. And this is exactly why we think that we are bringing great value to Web3 infrastructure landscape. And through our experience with Kepler network and actually providing indexing services for 3 years across different ecosystems, we truly believe we are in a prime position to bring this holistic approach live. And we will allow our marketplace to be open to any node, no matter what type of services you want to provide, indexing or RPCs. We will clearly monitor the performance of the nodes and also the cost, and those two values will be driven through the whole across the whole network, and we will allow node operators to bring other chains and other projects on board, so we will grow organically per demand and in truly decentralized way. Mentioned previously that with building Kepler network, we already had 3 crucial elements in place, like a payment railways done for indexing can be also used for providing support for RPCs. This is the same goes for verification of services, the performance and the cost of operating a node, and of course dispute resolution. So if the things, if anything goes down, we can actually provide alternative node operators and ensure high reliability. Super proud of our pre-mainnet network results. So we've on board more than 2,000 indexers. We have under the hood more than 70 billion managed services requests in our managed services, and we have a pretty robust live community. So we are not starting from scratches. We are an established project that has a lot of experience in providing infra services. And those are the 3 problems or 3 values that we wanted to bring with our decentralized network for both indexers and RPC providers. So with distributed and redundant multiple numbers of nodes distributed globally, we can provide superior latency and great redundancy. We can attack issues related with RPC costs by providing new solution and optimizing for costs. And this will help us have faster applications and then provide our users with better solutions and actually build modern, intuitive and performant applications. And through that's actually SubQuery mission, to help builders build their projects in a the most possible efficient way. So this is exactly a core mission of SubQuery. So even though we are going from indexing to RPC providing, the mission really didn't change so much. It only expanded into a different direction. And I invite you to join SubQuery network. Here with that QR code, you're able to go to our web app and see how become a participant of the network and see how we are doing. So there is the dashboards, there are projects to get that are waiting to be indexed or already being indexed, a number of indexers actively indexing currently. And soon you will see RPC providers on the network as well. If you need some more information and inspiration and you want to learn how to build with SubQuery or become a participant of the network, check our robust documentation. And of course, I invite you to join our community on Discord. A number of our team members are present there, so you can reach out to us. Of course, we are also here, so you can speak with us in person, but also we invite you to join our community. Thank you so much for your time. I will hang around, so if you have any question I want to talk about your indexing needs, and you want to see if SubQuery could be a great fit, hit me up. And you can also use my Telegram handle to reach me on Telegram, or send us an email to get yourself demo booked, where I can give you, or some of our DevRel team give you a detailed project walkthrough. Thank you so much. This is it for today. Thanks for staying so long to listen. Thank you.